Hello, English students. Welcome. 2 weeks ago, we learned how to answer the question, what is your name? Last week, we answered the question, how are you? Today, we will answer the question, where do you live? But first, let's go over our Bible verse for this semester. It is Isaiah 40:31. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40:31. We also have the translation so that you understand what we are saying, what this Bible verse means. Let us say the verse together aloud. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40:31. Today we will be asking the question, where do you live? Here are some possible answers. If someone asks you, where do you live? You can say, I live in Sterling. Or if someone asks you, where do you live? You can say, I live in Herndon. I live in Sterling. I live in Herndon. Let's say these two dialogues together aloud. Where do you live? I live in Sterling. Where do you live? I live in Herndon. Here is a map of where you might live. We have Leesburg, Ashburn, Sterling, Herndon, Reston, Chantilly, or Fairfax. We can also ask the question, what is your address? So if someone asks you, where do you live? You can say 13081 Backwater Drive, Sterling, Virginia 20164. If someone asks you the question, what's your address? You can answer 7680 Confidence Court, Ashburn, Virginia 20147. In a minute, I will explain what this address is and what all of the parts of the address mean. But for now, let's just practice saying aloud, where do you live? Where do you live? Say it aloud with me. Where do you live? And let's say aloud together, what's your address? You can say, what's your address? Or what is your address? Let's say it together. What's your address? So let's ask the question, what is an address? An address is made up of multiple parts. You first have the house number, then you write the street name, then you have the apartment number, you have the city, the state, and the zip code. We will go in detail what each part means. but this is how you would write the address. For example, you have the house number right here. It is a number. You have the street name, Confidence Court. You have the city, Ashburn. You have the state, Virginia, and you have the zip code, 20147. The colors correspond or match which part it is. Here is another example of an address. This time it is an apartment building. You have the house number, you have the street name, Herndon Woods Drive, then you have the apartment number right here, which is in the middle. Then you have the city, Herndon, the state, Virginia, and the zip code, 20170. Now let's ask the question, what is a house number? A house number is the number on the house here and also on the curb here, so that you can identify which house you live on, which house your friends live in, and the mailman can know where to put your mail, what house the mail goes to. Here's another picture of a house number. It is usually next to the door of the house and also can be out here on the street. So if we look at examples of the house number in our address, we can see that 611 is the house number, or 7680 is the house number in these two addresses. Now let's look at some street names. Let's look at some examples. You can have a street name called Fairfax Boulevard, Main Street, Sterling Road, Herndon Woods Court, Ferndale Avenue, Underwood Lane. Notice, if you look at these are the names of streets. Words right here. They all are other words that mean street or road. So we have many of these that mean street or road. We have boulevard, we have street, we have road, we have court, we have avenue, terrace, lane, circle, place, highway, drive, square, and way. Each road or name has an abbreviation. An abbreviation is a shortened version of that word. So boulevard is BLVD. Street is ST. Road is RD. Court is CT. Avenue is AVE. Terrace is TERR. Lane is LN. Circle is CIR. Place is PL. Highway is HWY. Drive is DR. Square and S is SQ. And way is usually so short we don't need an abbreviation. But whenever in your address, when you write the name of your road or your street, sometimes these name words are too long to write. So we write the abbreviation, the short version of each. Okay? Let us say these names together aloud. Boulevard, street, road, court, avenue, terrace, lane, circle, place, highway, drive, square, way. It is important to remember these short abbreviations of each of these. It is also important to know if I give you this road, this word, what the abbreviation is. For example, here is our house number, 611. Our street name is Herndon Woods Drive. How would we abbreviate drive? We would abbreviate it as DR. Even though it says DR, we would still say 611 Herndon Woods Drive, as if the whole word was written out. Another example. This is the house number, and this is the street name. Court, we would abbreviate as CT. But when we read the address aloud, we would say 7680 Confidence Court. We would still say court as if this was spelled out in the long way. Example. Here is the house number. Here is the street name. 7011 Main Street. We would abbreviate this street as ST. But when we read it aloud, we still say 7011 Main Street. Last example. Here is our house number. Here is the street name. 10127 Arthur Place. We would abbreviate this as PL, but when reading aloud, we still say 10127 Arthur Place. Now let's do an activity to help you remember what the abbreviations are for each of these street name words. For example, the word we have is drive. What is the abbreviation or the short version of drive? The answer is DR, drive, drive. Again, avenue. Avenue is the long word or the normal word. What is the abbreviation for avenue? It's AVE, avenue. Here's the word avenue, and here's the abbreviation, but we still say avenue. Next, we have the abbreviation PL. What is the word for PL? You guessed it, it's place. So we read this place, and we also read this place. Again, here's an ST for an abbreviation. What is the word that ST is an abbreviation for? Street. So we have drive, drive, avenue, avenue, place, place, street, street. 4. Here we have court. What is the abbreviation? CT. Court. We still say court. Here we have the abbreviation CIR. What is the word? Circle. Circle. So we have circle and circle. Here we are given the word boulevard. Boulevard. What is the abbreviation? BLVD. Boulevard. 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 Here we are given the abbreviation LN. What is the word? Lane. 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 Let's read these all together. Court. Court. Circle. Circle. Boulevard. Boulevard. Lane. Lane. A few more. Here is the abbreviation HWY. What is the word? Highway. So we say highway or highway. Here we have the word road. What is the abbreviation? RD. Road. 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 Here is the word terrace. Terrace. What is the abbreviation for terrace? TERR. Terrace. 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 Here is the abbreviation SQ. What is the word that has the abbreviation SQ? Square. 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 Let's read all of these aloud together. Highway. Highway. Road. Road. Terrace. Terrace. Square. Square. Now let's practice some dialogues. George says, "What street do you live on?" Frank says, "I live on Sunset Drive." Notice this is a drive. This is the name of the street, Sunset Drive. Catherine says, "Where do you live?" John says, "I live on Eden Boulevard." Let's read these dialogues together. What street do you live on? I live on Sunset Drive. Where do you live? I live on Eden Boulevard. Pause the video and practice these dialogues until you feel comfortable asking these questions. What street do you live on? Where do you live? And I live on, what is your street name? Some more street name examples. Some streets have these letters in front of the street names. The question is, what does this mean? Each of these letters at the beginning or end of the word of the street name is a direction. Let's go through these directions together. North, south, east, west, northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast. Notice each word has an abbreviation. North is N, south is S, east is E, west is W, northwest is NW, southwest is SW, northeast is NE, southeast is SE. So if we have S 18th Street, we read it and it means South 18th Street. If we have NW Main Street, we say it is Northwest Main Street. Or we can have Oxford Road E, which is Oxford Road East. Even if it has these letters, N, W, E, or S, we still read it as South 18th Street, Northwest Main Street, Oxford Road East. For example, we can have 3495, this is our house number, Southwest 18th Street. I did not say SW, I said Southwest 18th Street. So when reading this, I would say 3495 Southwest 18th Street. Let's look at another example. Here's our house number, 1817, our street name, 5th Avenue Northeast. I do not say NE. I say 5th Avenue Northeast. Some people live in an apartment. If you live in an apartment, you must include the apartment number. So we have learned what the house number is. We know what the street name is. Here, we must include the apartment number. You may now ask, what is an apartment number? An apartment number is when you have an apartment building, so a building with many levels with many smaller houses inside is an apartment. The apartment number looks something like this. It will be a number inside on the door, or above the door, or next to the door. Do you live in an apartment? If you live in an apartment, you must include your apartment number in your address. You would include it here in between your house number and street name and your city, state, and zip code. It goes in the middle. If you do not live in an apartment, you do not need to include the line for the apartment in your address. This person does not live in an apartment, so they do not need that. Do you live in an apartment? Your apartment number looks like this. We would use an abbreviation for apartment. It is APT. For example, you can live in apartment 5. We read it, even though it's an abbreviation, we read it as apartment. Apartment 5. Apartment 304. Apartment 1203. Or apartment 1203. For example, if I lived in an apartment, this could be my address. I have my house number, my street name, and then my apartment number. 3495 Sunrise Place, apartment 401. And then I would have my city, my state, and my zip code. Another example. Here's my house number, here's my street name, here's my apartment number. 1817 Killington Lane, apartment 2. I would then say my city, my state, and my zip code. Let's talk about the city. We've talked about the house number. We talked about the street name. We know when to include an apartment number. What about the city? Here are some examples of some city names in Northern Virginia. This could be where you live. Let's read aloud some of these names. Sterling, Herndon, Chantilly, Fairfax, Ashburn, Reston, Falls Church, Annandale, Springfield, Centerville, Oakton, Vienna. Let's read them again together. Sterling, Herndon, Chantilly, Fairfax, Ashburn, Reston, Falls Church, Annandale, Springfield, Centerville, Oakton, Vienna. We would place the city in the spot underneath the apartment number or underneath the house number. So this is in the city of Sterling. We would read this address. We have the house number, we have the street name, we have the apartment number, and we have the city. So we say 3495 Sunrise Place, apartment 401, Sterling. Then we say our state and our zip code. Let's look at another example. We have our house number, our street name, and our city. Notice there is no apartment number in this address. This person does not live in an apartment. We would read this as 1817 Killington Lane, Fairfax. Then we would say our state and our zip code. Here's something very important. Notice there is a comma right here and right here. Do not forget the comma when writing your address. This is very important. Now let's look at some states examples. So we talked about the house number, we talked about the street name, we know about the apartment number, and we know about some cities that we live in. Now we have the state. Let's look at some examples of the state. we're going to read through these together. Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New York, California, Texas, Florida, North Carolina. Notice how each of these states have abbreviations. Virginia is VA. Maryland is MD. Pennsylvania is PA. West Virginia is WV. New York is NY. Now, let's play a game. Let's match the state names with their abbreviations. Here we have New York. What is the abbreviation for New York? Is it NY? Is it VA? Is it PA? Is it NC? The abbreviation for New York is NY. Now let's look at the next one. North Carolina. Is it VA, PA, or NC? The abbreviation for North Carolina is NC. What about Pennsylvania? Is it VA or PA? The abbreviation for Pennsylvania is PA. Let's look at Virginia. It is VA. New York is NY. North Carolina is NC. Pennsylvania is PA. Virginia is VA. Our first one is California. What is the abbreviation for California? It is CA. Next one, Maryland. What is the abbreviation for Maryland? It is MD. What is the abbreviation for Texas? It is TX. What is the abbreviation for Georgia? We have not talked about what the abbreviation for Georgia is, but because we know Maryland is MD, Texas is TX, California is CA, we know that Georgia is GA. Let's look at some example addresses. We have the house number, we have the street name, we have the apartment number, we have the city, and now we have the state. Notice we have the abbreviation. This abbreviation is for the state of Virginia. Even though it is an abbreviation, we still read it as Virginia. Let's read this address together. 3 3495 Sunrise Place, apartment 401, Sterling, Virginia. Then we would have our zip code. Let's look at another example. We have our house number, our street name, our city, and our state. Do you remember what state has the abbreviation of CA? It is California. Let's read this address together. 1817 Killington Lane, Fairfax, California. Then you would have the zip code. Let's talk about the zip code now. We've talked about the house number. We talked about the street name. We also talked about the apartment number. We know what a city is, and we know the abbreviations for each state. What is a zip code? A zip code is a number that it corresponds, that is related to a certain area of where you live. Notice this is a map of the zip codes in Northern Virginia. So people who live here have a zip code of 22003. People who live here have a zip code of 22124. You can see that there are many zip codes in this area. For example, we have our address. We have 3495 Sunrise Place, apartment 401, Sterling, Virginia, 20164. So now we have a complete address. We have the house number, we have the street name, we have the apartment number, we have the city, we have the state, and we have the zip code. Let's look at another example. Here is our other address. 1817 Killington Lane, Fairfax, California, 94930. This is the zip code for this address. Let's look at an example dialogue. We now know what all of the different parts of an address is. Now we can learn how to answer questions where we live. Anna says, "Hi, Tom, where do you live?" Tom says, "I live at 473 Crestwood Way, Mulberry, Florida, 33860. What's your address, Anna?" Anna says, "My address is 1327 Saltillo Street, apartment 102, San Antonio, Texas, 78207. Let's look at each of these addresses. Tom says his house number is 473. His street name is Crestwood Way. His city is Mulberry. He lives in the state of Florida. His zip code is 33860. So his address is 473 Crestwood Way, Mulberry, Florida, 33860. Anna, her house number is 1327. Her street name is Saltillo Street. Her apartment number is 102. She lives in the city of San Antonio, in the state of Texas. Her zip code is 78207. Let's read this dialogue aloud together. Hi, Tom. Where do you live? I live at 473 Crestwood Way, Mulberry, Florida, 33860. What's your address, Anna? My address is 1327 Saltillo Street, apartment 102, San Antonio, Texas, 78207. Let's look at an example when you're filling out your information. Let's say your name is Ella. You would fill out your name. Your first name here is Ella. Your MI is your middle initial, or the first letter of your middle name. So let's say it's M. Then Ella is going to fill out her last name, Thompson. So we have Ella Thompson is this person. Where does she live? Here, this number is talking about the house number. This is talking about the street or the street name. Ella Thompson lives on 341 Farmington Drive. She then lives in the city of Dayton. She lives in the city of Dayton in the state of Virginia, and her zip code is 22821. So we have Ella Thompson living at 341 Farmington Drive, Dayton, Virginia, 22821. Let's do an example dialogue. Emma says, "Hello, my name is Emma. What is your name?" Taylor says, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Taylor. Where do you live?" Emma says, "Hi, Taylor. Nice to meet you too. I live on 8746 King Arthur Drive." Remember, DR means drive. Apartment 1203, Ashburn, Virginia, 20147. What is your address? Taylor says, "My address is 1032 South 13th Street." Remember, this S means south. Allentown, Pennsylvania. PA is the state of Pennsylvania. 18102. Let us read this whole dialogue aloud together. Hello, my name is Emma. What is your name? Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Taylor. Where do you live? Hi, Taylor. Nice to meet you too. I live on 8746 King Arthur Drive, apartment 1203, Ashburn, Virginia, 20147. What is your address? My address is 1032 South 13th Street, Allentown, Pennsylvania, 18102. Pause this video and read aloud this dialogue until you feel comfortable with asking, where do you live? What is your address? And my address is, and then say your address. Look at some homework. What I want you to do this week is text me 3 different addresses you find online. Here's some criteria. each address must be from a different state. So you need to have 3 different states. Another one is at least one address must have an apartment number. Let's look at some examples. Here is the first address, 1308 Madison Street, Woodridge, New Jersey, 07075. Next address, 1021 Island Drive Court, apartment 400, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48105. Third address is 219 Walnut Street, Twin Falls, Idaho, 83301. Notice all of them have a different state. The first one here we have is New Jersey. The other one is Michigan. The last one is Idaho. These states for your 3 addresses must be different. 3 different states. The second thing is at least one address must have an apartment number. You must include an apartment number in at least one. Number 2, find a video online about asking about your address. For example, here is a video I found that I thought was good. You can go and search for this and watch this video for more practice. Now you know how to say where you live, you now know how to answer the question, where do you live and what's your address? You now know how to say your address and write your address on a form when someone asks you.